yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Johnny North is here with me. We are talking professional wrestling with you as we do every week here on the program. We got a lot of wrestling to get to. We have a new 24/7 champion, big episodes of Raw and Smackdown this past week, and new ones coming up on Monday. Some big matches announced, an Intercontinental title match. AJ Styles versus Gran Metallik coming up next Friday night on SmackDown. We have a lot of pro wrestling to get to. We are on the road to Summerslam. The WWE finally talking about SummerSlam. It is happening. That's the next big event from World Wrestling Entertainment. We'll also get to what's going on in All Elite Wrestling. AEW doing some things this week. The Young Bucks getting a win in a Falls Count Anywhere match with the Butcher and the Blade. I'm sure Big Johnny has some thoughts on that match and all the other wrestling matches that we watched for you this week to bring you Wrestling Uncensored, an uncensored look at professional wrestling. I am Dave Simon. I've been watching professional wrestling for over 30 years. He's Johnny North. He's been a professional wrestler for how long now?
I guess, 15, 16 years now?
15, 16 years in the business. You're a young vet, Johnny North. The young vet, looking jacked as always. Good to see you. Good to have you back, Big Johnny. Where do you want to start this week? Do you want to start with AEW, get that over with, and then we'll switch over to the WWE?
Well, we're going to start with the best then, because I thought AEW, at least in the first hour, that was like the best hour of television I saw this week.
Yeah, it was a really good show, and they did very well in the ratings. They beat NXT in every aspect of the game, ratings-wise. NXT's kind of a snoozer for me. I'm not really into NXT. I don't really watch NXT that often. I'm way more into AEW, Raw, and SmackDown. NXT, you know, it's there. I pay attention when the takeovers happen, but other than that, who has time for NXT when there's so much other wrestling going on? What did you like best on AEW?
Well, I think the start was pretty good with Cody Rhodes and Eddie Kingston, that promo that Kingston cut. Really liked the match. I really liked that he was selling his leg. Like, I wasn't sure if he was actually selling or not, so I was really into that match. Very physical. That was a great way to start the show, and that powerbomb and thumbtacks. That first match was probably the best first match we've seen from AEW.
It was pretty wild, right? Pretty
It's
wild.
A great way to start a show.
Is it a great way to start a show? Is it a great way to open up a wrestling program where you have a kick-ass match and you take a power bomb into thumbtacks? Cody's taking it too, which was surprising. I thought maybe Eddie Kingston would be the one taking the tacks. When the tacks were spread out around the ring, I was like, okay, well, Eddie Kingston, he seems to be this hardcore wrestler guy. He's probably going to take the tacks, but Cody took it. And that's how you start the show. You said it on Twitter, Johnny, at North Genesis. How do you top that?
Well, then we saw that false count anywhere match they had with the Bucks and the Butch and the Blade, and that was even crazier. I thought that match, like, to me, it seemed like AEW, like, they threw out all their best stuff right away to grab the viewers, and I think it worked, because the second hour it wasn't as good, but I think people were still interested because that first hour was so good.
The first hour was solid. I thought the second hour was good too. The Cody Rhodes Eddie Kingston match was pretty awesome. I didn't love the Young Bucks Butcher and the Blade match. You like that one?
I just liked how, like, they started not in the ring, like they just started on the outside. I thought that was a great kind of different way to start a match, and then they made their way to the ring. And I thought it ended well. You ended off on a high note there with that big double table bump at the end, which apparently both Bucks are really hurt after that.
Oh, yeah? They're hurt? Oh, that's not good. But there are aspects of that I don't like. Now, I didn't like the finish. I didn't like the finish because, like, that's really how the fight is going to end between these two. You're going to lay them both on tables, and you're both going to do this like perfectly synchronized dive off the two entranceways to put them through tables. It's just too perfect. It's just too choreographed. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. Like, the spot was cool. You know, it looked nice. It was pretty, but it didn't feel like a real finish. It didn't feel like how a fight would end. So I didn't really like the finish. It's not my kind of, I don't like when they do that, when it's like we're both going to hit a move at the same time, and then you're both going to go down, and then that's how we finish the match. It's like too fake. Two of them, hit a double team move on a guy and put him away. Get rid of a guy and then double team, and, like, I would have preferred the finish had they get rid of the blade, they toss him off the stage, and then they put the Butcher on a table, and Matt is like hitting the Butcher on the table. Nick goes up to the top, and he does the flip, and he does the dive. That I would have liked a lot better. Is that too much, John? Am I being a stickler here?
Well, I felt they did that earlier in the match where they got rid of the blade. He went up the escalator, and they were just focusing on the Butcher, but they couldn't beat the Butcher by himself. So they had to focus on both of them to actually beat both of them because they were just both too strong. So they had to beat both of them.
But you know what I'm saying about the synchronized finish? Like, it's...
I get what you mean, but they went for the big spot, the big pop, and it looked nice. So that's what they went for instead of going for realism.
The big pop? What do you mean the big pop? For who?
Oh, Excalibur was going like crazy on that one. Like I heard Excalibur definitely, without question.
So for the commentary team, they're looking to pop the commentary team, or at least Excalibur. I didn't hear Jim Ross pop. You see, Jim Ross retweeted me during the show.
What did he retweet?
He made a reference to a Roger Miller song, "Chug a Lug," which is a big favorite of mine and my son's. We love Roger Miller and his music. He said something about during that match, actually, the Butcher and Blade Young Bucks match, there was mason jars being tossed around, and JR goes, "That might be grape wine in a mason jar." And I was like, "Was that a Chug a Lug reference? Like, is that a?" Because it's a line in the song, "Grape wine in a mason jar, homemade and brought to school by a friend of mine after class." No, you don't know that song, John? Great song, great tune.
I don't, but I guess JR knew it.
JR knew it, by God. Because I posted, I tweeted, I was like, did JR just drop a Chug-a-Lug by Roger Miller reference on Dynamite? And am I the only AEW fan that caught this? Because it's a pretty obscure reference. Roger Miller was like a country singer in the 50s and 60s. Maybe 60s? I'm not sure. But, and then JR retweeted it and liked it, so... And then a bunch of people retweeted after because once JR does it, then it goes a little bit. Which was cool. So he didn't write anything to me. He didn't tell me that it was indeed a Roger Miller reference, but I'm assuming since he retweeted, that was the signal saying, "That's right, pal." So I was more Vince than JR. "That's right, pal."
Well,
tougher than a government mule.
I thought JR was really good on their post show that they do on their YouTube channel. JR was just kind of shooting on WWE and just AEW. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. Well, he said the truth. What did he say? He's like, why would you watch NXT when AEW's on? AEW is a far superior product. I agree.
Well, it wasn't just that. He was just shooting on, like, AEW, the show, as well. Like, what he thought worked, what he thought didn't work. Like, he said about MJF. Like, he tells MJF, like, yeah, you're good, but some things aren't that good. And he lets him know it. Like, that's kind of cool that he does that.
Well, that's good because they need people like Jim Ross who've been in the wrestling business forever who know things, experience. It helps. And a guy like MJF who's so young, to get that kind of advice from a guy like JR is extremely valuable. So I thought Cody, Eddie Kingston was really good. I was shocked at the thumbtack spot, but happy with it. I thought the match was awesome. I thought the Young Bucks Butcher and the Blade match, like, I didn't love it. There were too many points about that match that I didn't like. I didn't like the finish. I didn't like the beginning either. Like, if people are coming to fight you, John, okay, you're in a fight. It's a no rules fight. And there is a stake on the ground and a knife. What are you going to pick up?
Well, they put the knife away. That's their own fault. They shouldn't have done that, but that's what they did.
No, come on. The knives were on the ground. The knives were on the ground. Matt Jackson goes. So the Butcher and the Blade, they're standing there. So the Young Bucks are like, let's start this match right now. They have a cameraman with them. They have a referee. They're like, let's start this Falls Count Anywhere now. They find Butcher and the Blade chopping meat. I didn't realize they were literal butchers. Like they cut meat for what, AEW? What are we to understand there? They just enjoy cutting meat in their spare time? Getting ready for a match, they cut meat? I don't really understand what they were trying to tell us. They're the Butcher and the Blade. So one is the Butcher and one is the Blade, but they're both like into knives and cutting meat. I don't understand. Like, they don't run a butcher shop out of AEW's little arena there in Jacksonville, do they? I don't understand what's going on there with the cutting of the meat. John, you like to always explain things for me. Explain that one. Why were the Butcher and the Blade cutting meat before a wrestling match? Have you ever cut meat in preparation for a match?
Usually you prep your meals before you do something like that. But maybe it's their hobby. That's my guess.
It's their hobby. Does anybody have that hobby in the world? Chopping
Your
meat?
name's the Butcher. Makes sense.
This is the type of stuff that if it were WWE, we'd be destroying them for this. We'd be like, what are they doing? But because it's AEW, it's kind of like, well, it's funny. It's whatever. It's fine. Who cares? Gets a pass. No. You got to hold them up to the same standards. Butcher and the Blade starting the match, doing butcher things is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you're going to start the match that way. And then, of course, they put their stuff down. They wash their hands. And then the match begins. They're throwing them on these metal tables. They're tossing them around. They're trying to, smash their heads into walls and fridges that are in the kitchen there. The big industrial kitchen that they have in the arena. And then when they go near the knives and the meat that have fallen on the floor, they pick up the meat to use that as a weapon. Matt Jackson picked up a steak, hit the Blade, picked up another steak, hit the Butcher. Didn't think to pick up a knife to stab the Butcher right there and win the match. It's no holds barred, Falls Count Anywhere, anything goes. Why not just stab your opponent? I mean, at least Butcher and the Blade as heels, because there are knives there, you grab a knife and you threaten. And it gets super kicked out of your hand or something. I didn't like that. It didn't make sense. If you're in like a real, I get it's pro wrestling and it's all a show and everything, but these guys are supposedly in like a fight where anything goes. And they pick up a steak because that hurts. Spraying each other with orange juice, hitting each other with steaks. I don't know what's going on here. It's a Food Network or pro wrestling?
Well, it was the Bucks that hit him with the meat, right? So the Bucks are the good guys. They don't want to, try to kill somebody. So I get that.
Yeah, but what about Butcher and the Blade? I mean, come on. There's just a lack of sense in a lot of this stuff that I don't like. A lack of sense to kind of try and entertain, but you're you're sacrificing the logic and sporting aspect of your wrestling product by trying to entertain and do your little comedy skits. I don't need to see these guys do comedy. Again, they're not funny, really. Most of them aren't that funny. The Bucks are kind of funny, but this was not funny. There's nothing funny about this match. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. You know? I did not like it.
It's you and Meltzer, two different opinions. You both like something, but in totally different ways. It seems like it's always like that with you and the Elite.
Why do you keep telling me what Dave Meltzer thinks? I don't even read what he's saying. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't.
Well, just you guys are both fans of the Elite, obviously, right?
Sure.
But you guys like them in totally different ways for some reason. It's amazing.
Like, there are different things that we like about them. Yeah. Well, I think that when the Young Bucks are serious, you know, like, I think Young Bucks, Kenny, Hangman, when they had that tag team match, that type of stuff, that's exactly what they should be doing. Like, a serious match where it's like just a really good wrestling match with a really good story told. That, to me, is them at their best. They start doing stadium stampedes and whatever else. It's like, I don't like their matches where they don't have rules. I like them when they're in a ring doing like a serious match for a title. You know, I think that's where they shine. And I think that they lose themselves in all this other stuff. I'm not really sure why. It's a little disappointing because I really like them. You know, I don't like coming on the show and being like, oh, the Bucks match was stupid. You know, I like the Bucks. I wish it was better. You know, that's the thing. Like, I'm a big fan of the Young Bucks. I've said great things about the Bucks. I think that match again against Kenny and Hangman, probably the best match AEW's ever done. Or one of, at least. You know, Cody and Dustin was really good, but you know, they do a lot of goofy stuff that I just don't like. But it gets over with the fans, you know, so I see why it works. You know, the AEW fans, the people that are just diehard AEW, fully drinking that Tony Khan Kool-Aid, they're down with everything, from the Stadium Stampede to orange juice getting dripped on Jericho to Matt Jackson picking up a steak. Some of those people, it's like, well, these guys can do no wrong. But I don't know. I've been watching wrestling for a long time, and I'm just going to give you my straight-up honest opinion. Sometimes the Bucks are going to be the best thing on the show. Sometimes they're going to be not the worst thing, but, you know, certainly not the best. I thought Cody was probably the best thing on this show. Jericho and Hager versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy in the main event. Jericho beaten Luchasaurus after a masked man, Serpentico, hit Luchasaurus with a foreign object. And then Jericho hit the code breaker on Luchasaurus for the 1-2-3. That match was okay. Something about Luchasaurus. He just doesn't seem to move correctly. There are things that he does that look really phony. At one point, he goes to do a double choke slam to Hager and Jericho, right? He goozles Hager. He goozles Hager, right? And then he just sticks his arm out for Jericho to walk into. You know?
Yeah.
It's not good. I grab the guy by the throat, goozle one guy, Hager, yeah. And when Jericho gets close to you, then goozle him. Don't goozle Hager and then stick your other arm out and hope Jericho walks his way neck first into your hand.
Well, to me, it looked like someone forgot their positioning or something. It looked like something was off because someone was out of place. So I think that's why he kind of just like, oh, he's not there? Well, I'll just leave it there and he'll get there. That's what it seemed like to me.
Something about Luchasaurus, man. He doesn't move smoothly in the ring. His footwork is like all, you know? The steps that he makes are all like kind of clunky looking. I'm just saying.
Could be his footwork. Maybe that's why it didn't work out in WWE. Regal didn't like his footwork, perhaps. I don't know.
I'm saying what I see, man. He just looks like he takes big old steps, and they're kind of sideways. Have you not noticed that, John?
What?
The way he moves?
I noticed, like, when he goes for his kicks, that he kind of has to make bigger strides. So maybe that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. He does cool moves, but everything else is kind of like, what's happening here? The in-between stuff is not really there with him. But then he does like a freaking gorilla press into a backflip, triple flip, whatever. He does cool stuff. Like, he's obviously an athletic guy. There's just like maybe too much focus on that kind of high spot stuff and not enough focus on like, actually being solid and a logical wrestler in there. There's always something in a Luchasaurus match where I say, get out of here with that stuff, Jungle Boy's solid. I got nothing bad to say about Jungle Boy. Nothing bad to say about Jake Hager or Chris Jericho. These guys are, tremendous wrestlers. Luchasaurus, something about him. It's just, there are things that he just doesn't do correctly. And it gets me. Every match, there's always something. Just stick your hand out waiting for Jericho to walk into your goozle. Come on, man. Do better. Do better. Think of this like it's real. Yeah. I don't know. Wrestling's weird today. So Sammy Guevara revealed himself under the mask. It was Sammy Guevara, and now all of the inner circle is back together. They brought back Sammy Guevara.
He's been gone a month.
Yeah, that's it. He said on a podcast he wanted to rape Sasha Banks.
I don't think he meant like he would actually do it, though.
But it doesn't matter. What? I don't know, man.
It's a horrible thing to say, but I don't think he actually meant what he said, though.
You have said a lot of crazy shit on our shows throughout the years, John, right? This is episode, 501 of Wrestling Uncensored? We've done countless episodes of Dave and Johnny Live and everything in between. You've reviewed the 50 Shades. You've said some wild stuff to me over the years, John. On record, right? I've said some wild things. Mostly about The Miz and Randy Orton. And I regret nothing. But you've never said anything like that. I mean, you've said some you said some wild stuff when talking about all sorts of different things, John. But you've never gone into a place where, a Sammy Guevara place. Now, I feel that I'm not ready to welcome him back with open arms on my TV screen. I'm a little bit surprised that AEW brought him back so soon. And, yeah. I don't know how much time I have for Sammy Guevara. We'll see. You're all right with him back? You're not. You got no problem with it? I'm a little bit put off.
He went through the sensitivity training. He went through no pay for a month. He paid the price. And that's always going to be staying with him, too, in his career. So he always has to live with that, too, as well.
Kills a big chunk of his gimmick. He can't be the Spanish sex god anymore, right? Him and Jericho, they had a tag team, Le Sex Gods. You think that's still going to happen? You think he ever gets to team with Jericho again? Or when Jericho has a tag team partner, it's just going to be Hager from now on?
No, I think he's going to team with Jericho again. I'd be interested to see what happens with him, though, too. I mean, who knows how this is going to affect his career going forward? Because, it's going to be different, but how different is a good question. He's going to wrestle, I think, next week.
Yes, he actually will be teaming with Jericho. Now that I mention it, I realize he's going to be in a 10-man. He's going to be in a 10-man tag with Jericho, right? All of the Inner Circle. So Jericho, Santana, Ortiz. More Ortiz, less Sammy Guevara. Way more Ortiz. Ortiz is amazing. Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, all of the Inner Circle, all 5 guys taking on the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, and the Luchasaurus. A 10-man tag team match, playa. Happening on Dynamite this Wednesday night. What else is happening on Dynamite Wednesday?
Well, it's a live show, so they don't have all the matches yet, so you have to kind of wait and see, I think, for a lot of it. I think Cody has another match. I think they already announced Cody's match, actually.
Yeah, they did. Cody's wrestling some guy. Warhorse? Who's Warhorse?
He's an independent wrestler. They're giving him a shot.
Do you know him?
I do not know him.
Okay. I think the Dark Order will take on Kenny and Hangman for the tag team titles. Is that happening? Yeah. Uno and Grayson will be challenging Kenny Omega and Hangman Page for the AEW World Tag Team titles coming up on Dynamite. I mean, they could win.
They could. I don't know if they will, though.
They kind of should at this point. I say do it. Pull the trigger on the Dark Order. Like, you've been teasing this thing for so long. You keep growing it. You have Colt Cabana in there now. Who else did they try to get in their stable this week? They tried to bring in another guy.
Hangman?
Yeah, they tried to get Hangman. Oh, that's just to kind of set up the match. Yeah, Hangman's probably going to join the FTR before he joins Dark Order. But I could see Uno and Grayson winning, and I'd like that. I'd like to see them as the next AEW Tag Team Champions. Then we can kind of move on with Kenny and Hangman and see what happens next. I think it would be fun if, everybody's expecting the next AEW Tag Team Champions to be the Revival or maybe even the Young Bucks somehow, but I think it would be cool if it went another direction into another storyline with the Dark Order. Give them something. Give them the tag belts. I think they should do it.
I don't think you're wrong. It's just, will they do it, though, is a good question. Because like you said, they've been hyping FTR, the Young Bucks, against Kenny and Hangman. So is that going to be the match for the pay-per-view? I'd love to see Uno and Grayson win, but, man, Kenny and Hangman, they're just so dominant as a team.
Yeah, but the Dark Order, it's like, they got 20 guys.
Yeah, but, there's not 20 guys in the match, just 2-on-2 in this match.
Wouldn't it be sick if somehow Colt Cabana cost Kenny the match? Because Colt and Kenny have been doing this whole deal on being the Elite, where Colt is showing up on being the Elite, and Kenny is getting mad at him and chasing him all over the place. They have kind of a feud going on being the Elite. I think it would be fantastic storytelling if Colt Cabana, the new member of Dark Order who's not really sure if he wants to be in Dark Order, if he comes out and he, with Brody Lee, and he causes the distraction that leads to Kenny Omega losing the tag team titles to Uno and Grayson. I think that would be just perfect. Do it. Hire me, Tony Khan. I'm making so many good decisions for your company here. You really need to put me to work. I work very cheap, but I refuse to come to Jacksonville, Florida. I am not traveling to Florida anytime soon. Sorry, Tony.
Well, I think what makes this match more appealing than other matches we've seen recently with Kenny and Hangman is that this is a match where they could actually lose finally. Against Best Friends, you didn't really believe it. Private Party, you really didn't believe it. This one, it's you actually could see them lose finally. That's what makes this interesting.
That's it. This is a good one, man. I'm interested in this match. This is going to be fun. So you have Kenny and Hangman against Uno and Grayson for the tag titles. Inner Circle against Orange, the Best Friends, Jungle Boy, and Lucha. Cody versus the Warhorse. And Jon Moxley and Darby Allin against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Oh, that match might not happen, though.
Why?
Because did you see what happened to Darby Allin on the show? Like, it looked like he got a concussion.
Did he? What happened to Darby Allin? I saw it, but...
Well, he confronted Brian Cage, right? He came out to confront him.
Oh, the power bombs?
And then... No, not the power bombs. It's more the Ricky Starks, like, jumped him before, and, like, you see, like, the whiplash that Darby, when he took the ropes, like, head first.
Oh. You think he got a concussion there? Is there a story out there that he is concussed, or what?
There is a big rumor that apparently he might be concussed, so yes. And if you look at the powerbomb too, it didn't look like he was helping too much there as well, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he looked... Darby Allin takes a beating. Interesting. Well, that's what's going on Dynamite coming up this week. Who's Griff Griffin?
Griff Garrison, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is that what his name was?
He's one of those guys that wrestles on Dark almost every week. Yeah. Kind of looks like Jungle Boy, so I think that's why MJF kind of made like a Jungle Man reference or something.
Yeah,
just someone for MJF to squash. I thought for a squash match that was a great showing for MJF.
Yeah, he looked really strong, especially when you're cutting a promo on the guy as you're beating him up. Like, that's salt in the wound. That's super embarrassing, making MJF look great. Diamante wrestled Ivelisse. I was not impressed with that at all. In any way. I was like, could we skip this? I was watching it. I was like, this is nothing. It was nothing.
Well, I'm all for like giving new people a chance, especially in the women's division. They kind of need new talent there.
But what about that scary girl? What happened to her? What happened to the monster girl? She showed up one time. She beat up the girl with the hat, Anna Jay. I forget who the monster girl... What was her name? Do you remember?
Abaddon.
Abaddon. Where's Abaddon, man? What happened to Abaddon? She was awesome. She was the best thing in the women's division.
She'll be on Dark, and I imagine she's going to have a partner for that tournament thing they're going to have soon.
Oh, yeah, they're doing a women's tag team tournament. Is it for titles, or is it just happening?
A trophy.
A trophy, brother. That's starting soon, right?
It's supposed to be, I guess, the summer, right? It's probably going to end the pay-per-view, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. I don't even know who's in this besides Brandy and Allie.
Yeah. Well, I think we were talking last week, like, why are Brandy and Allie, they had a tag team name, the Nightmare Sisters, and I'm like, why do they have a tag team name? There's no tag team women's division in AEW. And then the next week, it's like, no, there is. It's like, oh, okay, we should have seen this coming. 16 women, 8 teams. The Deadly Draw, AEW Women's Tag Team Cup Tournament. A cup. It's not really clear who's going to be teaming up. I'm watching a commercial for this thing, and they're just showing, like, Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida and Big Swole and Anna Jay, and that's pretty much it. Penelope Ford. And that's it. That's, like, their whole division. I don't know who's going to be in this thing.
That's going to be the fun part. They're going to have to bring in some women to help fill this up, I think. So it's going to give a lot more people opportunities, which is great.
Oh, and Diamante will be challenging Hikaru Shida on Dynamite on Wednesday. Is that for the title?
Non-title. Also, you notice on her trunks, she has LAX on her trunks because you used to manage LAX.
Yes. And her Twitter handle is @DiamanteLAX. So I guess that's her affiliation there. She used to manage Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. Diamante. I wasn't super impressed with her match, but maybe it'll be better against Shida. Hangman beats 5 after a powerbomb. Dark Order watched the match. Brody Lee and Colt Cabana came out. I loved just Colt Cabana's facial expressions throughout that whole thing, like he's like, should I? And then Brody, says he's impressed by Hangman, and then Hangman doesn't want to join a cult, and Brody's like, fine, well, you made your bed, enjoy your sleep. And then Brody's like, come on, Colt, let's go. And Colt's like, huh? Where are we going? Okay, I guess we're leaving now. Because he didn't want Colt to see what the Dark Order was going to do to Hangman, and then they all attack, and then FTR showed up. They make the save for Hangman, which is interesting, They're Hangman's drinking buddies. And then Kenny Omega shows up after them and is kind of like, yeah, I'm here for you too, Hangman. And Hangman shakes the FTR's hand and takes a beer from them. He seems more like he's with FTR than with Kenny. So there's that split there and that story told. Multiple stories told after that match. I really enjoyed that. I think Colt Cabana is doing amazing work. He says so much without speaking a single word. He's so good in this role with Brody Lee. My God, is Colt Cabana good. I just want to see Colt Cabana and more development of that story with the Dark Order. It's one of the main reasons I want to see Uno and Grayson win the tag team titles so Colt Cabana can be involved in that because he's so good. He's one of my favorite parts of Dynamite, if not my favorite part at this point. Colt is just something about him, man. He's entertaining. And that's what's going on in AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley, too. Jon Moxley is still feuding with Brian Cage. What's the deal there? Who's Moxley's opponent going to be at All Out? September? That's their next pay-per-view? I think it's going to be MJF.
It should be MJF. I can't really think of anyone else it should be at this point because MJF's been the number one contender for quite a while now and no title shot whatsoever, so it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. He's undefeated. He remains undefeated. He keeps talking about how he's undefeated. He should get the title match against the champion at the big show. Either that or you do Cody MJF. MJF challenging for Cody's title.
Yeah, you could do that. I would wait on that because I feel Cody would just win.
Yeah.
MJF doesn't need that loss.
And isn't the only way for Cody and MJF to happen is if MJF wants it to happen because the stipulation was Cody only got to wrestle MJF one time?
Right, but he's got a title, so they have a reason right there.
Right. But there was that stipulation, and MJF did win. And that's some of that long-term storyline that, the next time Cody and MJF wrestle, it's going to be a really big deal, right? It's good stuff there. I like that. I like that aspect of AEW. It doesn't always, happen, but when it does, it pays off really nicely. Johnny North, speaking of paying off really nicely, if you go to manscaped.com and use the promo code Ringside20, it will pay off very nicely for you for several reasons. One of the reasons is you're going to get some great products. You're going to get the Lawnmower 3.0. You get that thing. You get that thing right now. If you don't have it, you're wasting your time. And if you're buying another razor to shave yourself, you're wasting your money because the Lawnmower 3.0 is the best one out there. It's the best one on the market. Johnny North uses it. I use it. We all use it. Everybody on the Ringside Report team uses the Lawnmower 3.0, and you can use it right now, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping on your order when you go to manscaped.com and use that promo code Ringside20. We all love Manscaped and all the Manscaped products. We're all using them, and you can use them too. Be part of the team. Be part of the Ringside Report Network. Support the Ringside Report Network. Manscaped.com, promo code Ringside20, 20% off plus free shipping. Go get it now. Big Johnny, you know what I'm talking about. Look at you, all shaved and clean, neat and tidy. Manscaped.
Well, you can't see exactly where, but yeah, it's all neat and tidy down there, so it's nice.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Manscaped.com, use that promo code Ringside20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Great products over at Manscaped. Shelton Benjamin is your new 24/7 champion. Shelton, MVP, and Bobby have a new faction. They are known as the Hurt Business. And they were getting some counseling from Farouk, Ron Simmons, backstage, telling them there's a better way, you could be more positive or whatever. And then R-Truth showed up, and Shelton Benjamin took the 24/7 title from him. And now Shelton is with MVP and Bobby Lashley. They are aligned. And then they had a match and lost. Put them together as a group, and they lose their first match together. Shelton.
Well, there's a good reason for that, though.
Shelton is obviously the weak link. What's the reason? Because Mustafa Ali came back?
Well, it made his Raw debut.
Yeah. How come he's on Raw now?
Well, because I guess people got traded or whatever. Was that part of the AJ Styles trade as well? I'm not sure, but people just go to Raw and SmackDown. It doesn't really matter.
So Mustafa Ali is on Raw now for no reason in particular. I thought Dolph Ziggler was traded for AJ Styles.
I believe Dolph and Bobby Roode, but where's Bobby Roode?
I have no idea. Cedric Alexander and Ricochet with Mustafa Ali got the win over Bobby, MVP, and Shelton. Mustafa getting the win on MVP after a 450 splash. I thought Mustafa Ali was the hacker on SmackDown, but we haven't seen the hacker on SmackDown in a few months. And it's exactly what I told you, Johnny. This hacker will never get resolved. It's one of those WWE things where they start it, they don't have a clear plan on how to finish it, so they just disappear it and hope people forget. You said, no. They have a plan. They can't just start this and not finish it. That's ridiculous. Then I gave you several examples, GTV, all sorts of stuff, that they start and then they just never finish. Mojo Rawley looking in the mirror, all that stuff. And he turns into Hype Mojo all of a sudden for no reason. So many things that they kind of have in the background that they put on their TV shows. This hacker thing was a little bit more high profile. It affected storylines. It affected the Mandy and Otis and Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville storyline. But now, no hacker. Hasn't been seen on SmackDown in months. And Mustafa Ali, who was thought to be the hacker, whose logo was around the hacker video segments that they did. So everybody thought Mustafa was the hacker, but the hacker was strictly a SmackDown thing, and now Mustafa Ali is on Raw. Maybe Mustafa Ali was the hacker and he went to Raw to escape being caught. I mean, if they said that, at least they would tie up the story and give you a conclusion and give you something. But they won't even give you that. Because Mustafa Ali wasn't the hacker. Or maybe he was gonna be the hacker, but then they decided not to do the hacker storyline at all. Or maybe they forgot about Solomon Crow, who was an NXT guy, a.k.a. Sammy Callahan, who had a hacker gimmick. And they're like, shit, we already did that. Let's just not do that again. Mustafa Ali's like, didn't we already do this with Sammy Callahan? They're like, who's Sammy Callahan? Remember? He was Solomon Crow. He was in NXT for a while. He had a hacker gimmick. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, let's scrap it. That conversation could very easily have happened. And that's why there's no hacker. I don't know. But there will never be a conclusion to the hacker story. And you know it, Big Johnny. You know it.
Oh, I think it might still come back.
Bet.
No, I'm not betting that. I can't bet on WWE thinking. That's terrible.
I can predict their thinking. Poor. Moderate to poor.
Well, after Sasha and Asuka from Extreme Rules, just expect the worst, obviously. I mean, you might get it, but it might not be what you want to get.
That's another one. So Bayley is in Sasha's corner for the match at Extreme Rules against Asuka. Bayley hits Asuka with a foreign object while the referee is down. Bayley then takes the referee's shirt off, puts the referee's shirt on herself, counts to 3, grabs the Raw Women's title, and declares Sasha Banks the new champion and the winner of the match. They walk away, and that's it. Asuka kind of stares at them from the ring like not really believing it's happening. Didn't decide to go and attack them and try to get her belt back. She just kind of sat there because that's what she was told to do. Just stare at them in disbelief. And then on Raw, we have some sort of resolution. Well, I mean, it's not fully resolved, but at least they addressed that the match made no sense. So Sasha and Bayley cut a celebration promo about winning their matches at Extreme Rules. Sasha says she's the champion now. Asuka and Kairi Sane show up. Asuka says that it's her title and she wants it back. And then Stephanie McMahon appears on the video screen. She doesn't want to risk coronavirus, so she's not actually appearing in the arena, right?
Smart.
And for some reason, Stephanie is like a director of authority on Raw now. Or maybe she always was. We just haven't seen her in like a year. And she says Sasha and Asuka will be wrestling next week to determine the real Raw Women's Champion. And that you could lose the title by disqualification or countout. Because it seems as though the Raw Women's title has been vacated for some reason. Even though Asuka should still be the champion, as per Stephanie's ruling, it seems vacant, right? If you can lose the title, right? If you can lose by DQ, if you can lose by countout, it's vacant.
Sasha still wears the title, though.
Yeah, well, Sasha, I mean, is holding the title, but Asuka should technically still be the champion, should she not? Why would Stephanie rule that the title is vacant? Why would she strip Asuka of the title when Asuka should have either won by disqualification or lost by disqualification for accidentally spraying the referee in the eyes with the green mist?
I guess you could say she attacked an official, and that's like a suspendable offense.
You're good, man. You're really good.
Well, they didn't think that far ahead.
Just when I think I have you cornered, you come up with some wrestling logic to be like, no, it makes sense. And I'm like, phew. You are good, Johnny. I'm telling you. You come up with... You should work for the WWE. They should hire you to work their social media. So when people are like, how do you do this? This doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. You be like, well, you know, she attacked an official, so it makes sense. Everybody would be like, damn it. Johnny. Got me again. They should hire you to work PR for them. To just be like, look, their stories do make sense. You people are just dumb. You don't get it. Right, John?
Yeah,
I'm just dumb. I'm dumb. I'm too dumb. I'm too dumb for wrestling. I just don't get it, right? That's what's going on?
Not even WWE understands their own logic sometimes, so I'm sure my stuff would make sense to them too, even though it makes more sense than their stuff.
Well, you do find logic in the illogical world of WWE, somehow making sense of this stuff for all of us, Johnny North. So then Kairi Sane had a match with Bayley that she won, and people are kind of saying, thank you, Kairi Sane, and goodbye, Kairi Sane. Is she leaving WWE? Is she gone? What's the deal?
Well, apparently she wants to go back to Japan. She got married recently, and she wants to spend time with her family. So, in order to do that, she has to leave WWE. So, it looks like that's probably going to happen, but it felt like they haven't quite gotten there yet. I think maybe she's going to do another episode of Raw, and then she'll be gone.
Okay. Because it did seem like a lot of WWE people on Twitter and stuff were kind of saying, thank you, Kairi Sane, as if she was leaving.
Maybe she will be leaving, or maybe she already did leave, but it feels like we're going to get something more, though, or at least some sort of segment where it's like she's actually gone kind of thing. I mean, I'd have Sasha and Bayley take her out or something, you know, but... Maybe we'll get nothing.
I thought it was strange that she just beat Bayley. Like, they would let her leave on beating Bayley. Like, Bayley's been champion forever. She's like the top dog in the women's division right now. And you just have Kairi Sane beat her. Kairi Sane, who's just like Asuka's second, you know? And she's leaving the company, supposedly, and then she just beats Bayley. It seems like a weird move. You would think she would lose to Bayley on the way out.
Well, maybe this isn't way of, good faith. Be like, we're putting you over on the way out. Hopefully you'll come back when things are all settled after the whole pandemic is over. So maybe it's done for that.
We'll see. I don't know. I like Kairi Sane. Kind of disappointed that she's leaving WWE, but they don't do that much with her. So it's not like you get to see the best of Kairi Sane in WWE. Randy Orton and Big Show in the main event of Raw this week. Randy beats Big Show after the RKO, gets the pinfall in the unsanctioned match. Andrade and Angel Garza helped him. A little interference there. And then after the match, Randy does the punt kick on the Big Show, taking him out. Maybe for good? Maybe, is this the end of at least this current Big Show run?
For the time being. I mean, he'll be off for a couple of months. Like, Big Show kind of does this, right? He's there for a couple of weeks, then takes a couple of months off. Like, he had this with the Seth Rollins thing, right? Like, he was there, then he was gone, and then he came back for Drew McIntyre, left, and came back for this. Like, it seems to be Big Show's thing, where it's just like, show up every once in a while.
That's it. I think they call him when they need him, and then he shows up, when he's needed, and that's the deal. He's a good company guy. He's a legend of the business. He's a future Hall of Famer. I thought the match with Randy was all right. Big Show did his thing. It wasn't like their best match. They've wrestled a lot. I saw them have a triple threat with Daniel Bryan here on a house show, and it was really good. Really good. They've wrestled a lot. This was all right, but it wasn't my favorite Big Show Randy Orton match. But I like Big Show, so, it was decent.
Well, the match had star power. It's a match that I actually cared about. Like, unlike most matches on Raw, where it's like if it's Drew McIntyre versus like Dolph Ziggler, I don't really care that much. And it looks like we're probably going to get that match again, unfortunately.
Yeah. Are we, though? It's Monday on Raw, though, not SummerSlam, right? Because Drew was like talking about SummerSlam, and he's like, I want a worthy opponent. And then Dolph Ziggler showed up, and I'm like, no. We've been through this. And then Drew headbutted him, and Dolph is like begging him for a rematch. He's like, please, anything. I was so close to winning. I was so close. It's like, ugh. I didn't like that promo at all. And then he's like, you can do anything. Pick the stipulation. Like, just such a loser heel. And Drew's like, okay, fine. I'll pick the stipulation, but I'm going to do like you did to me. You won't know the stipulation until it's match time. So match time is going to be Raw, Monday. Mystery stipulation for the WWE title. Not SummerSlam. Thank God.
Yeah, but I'm less interested in this week's Raw than I was last week's Raw. Now, that's for sure.
Yeah, last week's advertised main event, Randy Orton Big Show. Unsanctioned. This week's advertised main event, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, WWE title. But, I mean, I think the real main event for Raw coming up Monday is going to be Sasha Banks, Asuka for the vacant Raw Women's title. That's the real main event. That should close the show, if anything. That's the one I care about. Because I'm not sure. I feel like they'll probably go with Sasha, but they might just give it right back to Asuka. I'm not 100% on this one. Because they did such a weird finish, and now they're having this match here. I feel like they're going with Sasha to be the champion. They're going with Sasha and Bayley to have all the gold. But because the finish was so odd, because Kairi Sane beat Bayley, I don't know what they're doing right now with Asuka and Kairi. So I wouldn't be surprised if Asuka took it back. I want to see what happens in this one. What's your feel on that match? Like, my gut goes with Sasha, but I don't know. It could go either way.
My gut right away says another screwy finish where we still don't have a champion. So we're going to have another match, I think. I think even if you get a winner, I think we're still going to get another match. I think this could go all the way to SummerSlam.
Nah, I don't think so. I think that Shayna is going to get involved somehow. If there's a screwy finish, it's going to be with Shayna Baszler. Right?
Okay.
Because Shayna was watching the match this week on Raw. She was watching Bayley and Kyrie. And didn't she cut a promo during the match? Like they interviewed Shayna watching the match?
They did, yeah.
Shayna's going to get involved. I think Shayna interferes in the Asuka-Sasha match. And maybe we don't get a clear winner, and maybe we have a triple threat next week on Raw, and we kind of keep it going. Because to me, the SummerSlam match for the Raw title is Shayna versus either Sasha or Asuka. Because I feel like Shayna is getting a reboot here. Shayna's back. She's cutting promos. There's like a new edge to her character. I feel like they're going to do something here with Shayna, which is the right move. And I think she's going to challenge for the Raw Women's title at SummerSlam. But I'm not sure who her opponent's going to be. I feel like the big match would be Asuka. That's why I'm kind of thinking maybe they give the title back to Asuka. Because Shayna-Asuka one-on-one is big. But Shayna and Sasha one-on-one would be big too. But I'm not sure they'll be able to turn Shayna babyface enough to go up against a heel Sasha at SummerSlam. And the better move might be to just keep Shayna as this badass heel going up against Asuka, the babyface champion at SummerSlam. I don't know.
It's tough. We'll have to wait and see. But triple threat to me makes the most sense.
You didn't see that Shayna thing coming, though, John, right? Shayna makes sense.
It's hard to get behind Shayna when they could have had her win WrestleMania and they didn't, even though they knew about the whole Becky situation. So, to me, it's hard to ever get behind Shayna ever again now.
They didn't know she was pregnant, John. They knew she was, trying to get pregnant?
And yet, they still let Shayna lose.
Yeah. Trying to get pregnant could take a long time. It's not like that, Could take a little while.
No, but you could play it safe. They don't even try to play it safe.
Who, Becky and Seth?
I meant WWE. It's like, put it on someone you know who's going to be, there for you.
Okay. You're talking about Becky and Seth. They didn't play it safe. And now Becky's pregnant. Baby. Hey, speaking of Kofi Kingston, should we switch over? Let's talk about Seth. Seth beat Aleister Black after the stomp this week. Murphy was ringside and provided a distraction, and then Murphy and Rollins beat up Aleister Black and stomped his hand under the announce table. Aleister sold it like they broke his arm or hand. Seth cut a promo about Rey Mysterio's eye popping out and talking about how it made him sick to his stomach. Like, what is going on with Seth Rollins? What is this? Can it stop? Can it just go away? Now he's like feuding with Aleister Black like anybody cares. None of this is good.
Well, I just feel like this is going to continue with him and Rey Mysterio, though. I feel like they're just going to have another match at SummerSlam, because what else is he going to do?
I don't know, but their match at Extreme Rules was just so awful. And then you start Raw with a Seth Rollins promo. And then a Seth Rollins match with Aleister Black. It's like, they're not good at starting a show and making you want to continue watching. They're really bad at it. Start the show with Sasha and Bayley in the ring doing a promo. That's how you start Raw every week. Don't start the show with Seth Rollins doing a promo in the ring. Don't start the show with Dolph Ziggler or Drew McIntyre doing a promo in the ring. Let us forget that that's eventually going to happen on your show. We know that Seth and Drew are going to get promo time, but do it later on. Don't start the show with it because it makes me want to stop watching. And I can't be the only one. So please, stop doing this. Stop putting Seth at the top of the show with a promo. It's a tune-out. He's boring. Am I wrong about that? I'm not wrong. Of course I'm not wrong.
I had no problem with the match, though. I thought the match was solid. But yeah, the promo, like, he's never been great at promos.
No. Bianca Belair was interviewed, and then Peyton Royce showed up, and Ruby Riott was there out of nowhere, and for some reason, Billie Kay wasn't there. Where's Billie Kay? Ruby Riott beat Peyton Royce on Raw. 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. Where's Billie Kay? Wasn't very iconic.
Well, Billie Kay said on Twitter, it's none of your beeswax, so there.
So she's got coronavirus?
It's none of your beeswax. We can't say that.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully Billie Kay is back on Raw this Monday night and she doesn't have coronavirus. Street Profits beat Andrade and Angel Garza. Montez with a really nice splash on Garza. That splash is amazing. Montez can jump.
It was kind of weird, though. They were building that they were going to face the Street Profits. They face them, and then they just straight up lose to them. So, like, now what? But then they're like, okay, now we're going to work together. Like, they were working together in that one, I guess. Now they are. It was weird.
Not good. The whole, like, can't get along Angel Garza Andrade thing has been going on for so long, and I don't think anyone cares. And, yeah, the Street Profits just beating them was kind of weird. And the match was kind of like, this doesn't feel like it's been built up in any kind of way. I thought SmackDown was much better than Raw this week.
It usually is.
Sasha and Bayley started the show with a promo. I was like, yep, I'm into this. Sasha came out wearing a cool outfit, you know. Bayley looked like $1 million. They got all the gold. I was down with that. I loved it. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss show up. Nikki's mad at Sasha for costing her the title match with Bayley. Alexa's like, all right, Nikki, take it easy. And Bayley's like, I tell you what, Nikki, you can get a title shot if you can beat a former champion, a future Hall of Famer, a legend in the business. It seems like she's going to say Sasha Banks, like she's going to set Sasha up for another match. But no, she's talking about Alexa Bliss. And Bayley's like, all right, the winner gets a title shot next week. Alexa versus Nikki. Bayley's just calling her own shots. There's no Stephanie McMahon here to butt in. I guess Stephanie doesn't work on Fridays. Not Friday night. You know, Monday night, all right, she'll be there via satellite only. And then Nikki Cross winds up beating Alexa Bliss, rolling her up after looking like her ribs were hurt and kind of calling the referee's attention. Alexa was kind of feeling sympathy. Nikki was selling a rib injury, but it did kind of seem like she was playing possum there to get the win over Alexa Bliss. And they're the tag team on SmackDown where you're like, are they going to break up? Are they not going to break up? For a while there, it was Sasha and Bayley, but now they're doing it with Nikki and Alexa. They're getting the Andrade Angel Garza treatment.
I don't think they're going to break up, though. I think they showed after the match, they did that promo, they hugged and everything. Like, they showed there's no hard feelings. And if anything, they just kind of push that Nikki get another shot. It's just weird you would have Nikki again after losing so many times to Bayley, and then the pay-per-view losing. She's going to have another match, and she's probably going to lose again. I don't know what the end game to this is. Like, what's the point of Nikki losing all the time?
I feel like that promo after where Alexa was like, oh, it's all good, and congratulations and all that. I think that was just a plan by a evil Alexa Bliss, and she will cost Nikki the match next week, and that is the end game. That's what I would do. I would have Alexa cost her the match, Alexa turn heel, and then you do Alexa versus Nikki Cross.
As long as it's like Sister Alexa Bliss Abigail thing, that'd be fine.
No, I don't want that. I think you do Alexa versus Nikki Cross, and then you mix it in with the Lacey Evans Naomi storyline, and you get that all kind of together, and you could do tag team matches off that. Nikki and Naomi versus Alexa and Lacey. I think Alexa and Lacey would be a good tag team. I think they'd work really well together. They kind of look alike. I think you do that. And then you work them and you see who comes out of that. Maybe you build Naomi by having Naomi kind of help Nikki Cross take out Alexa and Lacey Evans. And then you build Naomi for a title shot against Bayley at SummerSlam. Done. Booked. You're welcome, Vince.
Well, we'll wait and see on that one. I wasn't a big fan of the Naomi Lacey Evans segment this week. So we'll see how this progresses. I mean, it feels like they're doing a forced push now with Naomi, which is nice, but we've seen this in the past, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
Oh, that was a bad segment because Miz and Morrison were on it, John. That's why it was bad, because they were trying to be
it
funny.
Did not help. Yeah, they were not funny whatsoever.
They are not funny. They are just awful. Miz talking about the Naomi hashtag that was going around Twitter, hashtag Naomi deserves better, which I've been saying for years. And I really don't understand why they haven't done more with Naomi. She seems like she's a solid person. Everybody seems to love Naomi that works with her. You watch her on Total Divas, she just seems like a good person. She's a hell of a wrestler. She's one of the most athletic people in the WWE as far as the cool moves that she can do. You talk about footwork. Naomi's got tremendous footwork. She moves just amazing inside that ring. She's got everything that you would want in a top superstar. And the fact that she hasn't been elevated to the level of a Charlotte or a Becky or, a Bayley or a Sasha is disappointing. The fact that she's kind of a notch below those people, I think is unfair. And I would elevate her to that level. She's been, maybe a 2-time champion? Maybe 3? She hasn't got much in the decade that she's been in the WWE.
But she has been injured a couple of times, though, and I think those injuries came at really bad times because she was getting pushed at those times, and it kind of killed those pushes.
It doesn't mean you can't resume those pushes when you come back from injury. For superstars that are protected, they always get to come back from injury and still get those push. Come on. Triple H, how many times did he get injured? Did it ever affect his spot? Or did he get a bigger push when he came back? When Charlotte comes back, you think it's going to be, Charlotte was over when she was gone, but then her boob popped, and when we bring her back, it's going to be not the same. Or do you think they're just going to keep pushing Charlotte to the top of the card? They'll probably give her a title shot. She'll probably get the title shot against, Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. They'll probably do that. Why? Because Charlotte Flair. Well, why Charlotte Flair, not Naomi? Last I checked, Naomi does a better moonsault.
It's tough to say because I have never seen Naomi do the moonsault to the outside. Charlotte does that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, look, I don't want to say, Naomi, Charlotte, compare them, whatever. Charlotte's great, but is she that much better than Naomi? I don't think so. I think there are a lot of people that get a lot in WWE that aren't that much better than Naomi. I think Naomi's very good and could be getting a lot more.
Well, they're giving her an opportunity again. Hopefully they make the most of it again. We'll have to wait and see. The problem, too, is they kept switching her on shows a lot. And they didn't need to do that whatsoever. Like, Raw didn't have a lot of women at the time, but for some reason they put her to SmackDown, which had a lot of women for whatever reason. So a lot of it, again, was just bad booking.
Bad booking. Not her fault. Not her fault whatsoever. And part of it, I mean, to be honest about Naomi, the promos aren't always great. You know?
Well, that promo with The Miz and Morrison, oof.
Yeah. It wasn't great. But there was a part there where it was good. You know, when she getting passionate, she got fired up, she stood up.
Near the end.
Yeah. There were parts of it that were all right. My favorite promo on SmackDown, though, was the Big E Kofi Kingston thing. Kofi, I guess, is hurt. He took a big power bomb at Extreme Rules.
They're saying that. Like, we don't know if it's an actual injury. It might be a storyline injury.
Right.
Either way, they gave him Kofi time off, so that's nice for Kofi.
So Kofi seems to be taking time off. Woods is not around. So now Big E is on his own. Kofi comes out of the trainer's room on SmackDown and has a real heartfelt talk with Big E. And I loved it. I want to play some of that for you.
Hey, bro, what's the news?
Well, I mean, not the best news. They said I'm going to be out for at least 6 weeks, maybe more. You know, but I get to spend some time with the family, you know what I mean? So it's all good.
Hey, damn, I'm sorry, man. Hey, take your time, heal up. I promise you when the time is right, Shin and Cesaro, those titles, I promise you we're coming to take your time, though, but we're coming.
I appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. We'll get the titles back when the time is right, but I feel like the universe is trying to speak to us right now, man. I mean, let's think about it. Woods is out. I'm about to be out. That means right now is your time.
I mean, I hear you, and I appreciate that, but
look, me and Woods, we talk about this all the time. I mean, for the past 6 years, you have been completely selfless. You've been putting the group ahead of yourself, you know, week in, week out. Even when I was the WWE champion, man, it was always love all the time. No jealousy.
Never, man.
You know, I always appreciated that. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without you, but here and now, it's about you, man. It's about you showing the world what Big E can do.
Like I said, I hear you, I appreciate that, but it's you and...
We want this for you, man. Don't let them deny you for a decade before you take your due. More importantly, you've earned this. You deserve this. And you have our blessing, man.
You sure?
I put your meat on my meat, man. Gently now.
You're good. I'll take my time.
Please, gently.
Hey,
I'm delicate.
Hey, I love you, man.
I love you.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful stuff. And I like how Kofi asked for a hug. Put your meat on my meat. That's how they hug. So, yeah, Kofi telling Big E that he deserves better. He deserves a big spot here in the company, and it's his time to kind of go solo here and see what he can do. And I love it. I think Big E should be a top guy in the WWE. Another guy who deserves way more. Promos, not lacking. In the ring, not lacking. Look, not lacking. He's got everything you want as a professional wrestler. I don't really see what's missing from Big E at this point. So he's WWE Championship material. If Braun Strowman could be WWE Champion, I mean, I would much rather a Big E title run right now. I think it'd be a lot more entertaining for everybody. Don't you?
Well, I'd like to see it. The only thing I felt that was lacking in that promo was that Big E didn't really get to talk. Like, if you're pushing Big E, he should get some talking. He barely got any talking in there. It just seemed like it was Kofi, which is nice, but Big E needs to do more talking by himself.
Yeah, but that was kind of setting the stage for the thing. Like, Big E, he's humble. He doesn't really want to go out and break out on his own. He wants to be with the New Day, but Kofi is kind of telling him, look, you know, I was WWE champion, and, you know, it's your time, and you got to do it now. I don't know. I thought it was good, and it set the stage. For sure, Big E's going to have to do some talking, but we all know Big E can talk, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. I look forward to seeing what they do with Big E. I feel like it's going to be AJ Styles at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like it's going to be Big E versus AJ for the title at SummerSlam, because as soon as that promo was over on SmackDown, they went right to a number one contenders match for that Intercontinental title. AJ Styles was on commentary to watch the match that was won by Gran Metallik, who AJ was like, what's this guy's name? Gran Metallik? Metallik? Gran Metallik? What is this? What is this? AJ was great on commentary, by the way. Just great. Drew Gulak, Shorty G, and Lince Dorado wrestling with Gran Metallik in that Fatal 4-Way. I thought it was a fun match. Gran Metallik getting the win. By God, Gran Metallik versus AJ Styles next week on SmackDown for the Intercontinental Championship. Eesh. Holy shit, that's going to be good. Like, jeez. That's really good. That's a great matchup there. Thank you, WWE. Like, once in a while, they throw one at you, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's worth watching SmackDown. Like, if you don't normally watch SmackDown, I would watch that match next week. Gran Metallik is a hell of a wrestler. And AJ Styles is pretty good, too. So, that's going to be good.
Well, on paper, it just seems like an elaborate squash, but AJ Styles is so good that he'll make the most of whatever time he gets with them. So it's definitely going to be worth watching.
That's the match next week, man. AJ Gran Metallik, that's going to be crazy. Bayley is going to wrestle Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's title on SmackDown. Naomi will go one-on-one with Lacey Evans. So both women's championships will be on the line this week. Sasha and Asuka on Raw, and then Bayley defending against Nikki Cross again on SmackDown. It's going down. And then Jeff Hardy and Sheamus in the bar. They don't just set the bar, they are the bar. But then Jeff Hardy told Sheamus... Okay, this was horrible, by the way. This promo was really bad. Bartender and referee are in the bar already. The referee's drinking before the match. Right?
Professional.
It's good. Real good. Sheamus shows up. He orders a shot. You know you have a match, right, Sheamus? Jeff Hardy shows up. Jeff Hardy shows up through the back door. Like, Sheamus came in through the front door. Jeff Hardy's like, I'm here. And you're like, what? What are you doing here? It's really weird how he came in. Sheamus offered him a drink. Jeff's like, no, I don't want a drink, but give me a cup, bartender. And then he pours a beer into the cup, and he's like, my brother had to delete his WWE career. Tonight, I will recover mine. And I was like, what? This is cool. This is weird, you know? And then Jeff is like, sobriety has changed me, and I hope, Sheamus, you're ready for anything. And I was like, all right. And then Jeff's like, hey, Sheamus, are you still the bar? And Sheamus is like, yeah, fella, I'm the bar. I don't just set the bar. He even didn't even say it right. He was like, I'm not just the bar. I set the bar or something. Like, he didn't even say it correctly. We don't just set the bar. We are the bar. But Sheamus, I think, forgot his catchphrase. So Sheamus is like, yeah, I'm still the bar. And then Jeff's like, no, you're not the bar. I'm the bar. I'm that light. I'm that TV. I'm everything. I'm connected to everything in here. And I was like, oh, Jeff Hardy. Why do they let you ad-lib these lines, man? Like, sometimes WWE should just write shit for these guys and be like, no, say verbatim what we wrote for you, because that shit about you are the light is like a little weird. You're the TV. I'm the TV. I'm the bar. I'm connected to everything in this room. So Jeff has like mystical powers now, like Matt Hardy, right? That's what we're to understand with this match, right? Like, because
that's what I got. Yeah.
The eyeball thing was another thing that we'll get to, right? Oh shit, this was weird. You like this? You thought this was good?
This was better than the swamp fight, in my opinion. This was a lot more action.
Okay. Yeah. The swamp fight was like one of the worst things I've ever seen. So yeah, this wasn't that bad, but... So Sheamus is like, Jeff, you're not the bar. I'm the bar. Wait a second. So Sheamus is like really annoyed by Jeff's like weird mystical things, how he's connected to everything, how he's the TV. And Sheamus is like, no, I am the bar. I am this literal bar, which was really strange for Sheamus to fight him on that point when Jeff is clearly out of his mind. Jeff Hardy no longer drinks, but he's on hallucinogenics or something. I don't know what's going on. Jeff throws beer in Sheamus' face, and the brawl begins. Ding, ding, ding. Sheamus drags Jeff across the bar through beer, flushes a toilet in his face, and slams a door on his lifeless body. Like, Jeff Hardy went through the ringer in this match, brother. Like, Sheamus dragging Jeff across the bar, all this beer splashing all over him. He's getting wet. It's like, is that real beer? And should Jeff, a recovering alcoholic, be soaked in beer? I don't know. And then Sheamus legit put Jeff's face in a toilet. Not a urinal, right? Like, not a toilet, but a urinal, right? Stuck his face in there and then flushed. He flushed the toilet. With Jeff Hardy's face in the toilet. Flushed it. All this water coming up. I don't care how clean you get a toilet. I do not care. If that toilet has ever been used, even if it's never been used, you just installed it today. Brand new toilet, sir. This water is clean. It's not even toilet water. It comes from, it's bottled water. We're filtering it through. It's not even toilet water. We're going to put your face in it. No. Well, why not? Because that's toilet water. It's coming from a toilet. That's gross. If that toilet has ever been used, ugh. And Jeff Hardy took that. Hey, John, has your face ever been in a toilet with toilet water splashing in your face? Mine hasn't.
Trying to remember. I don't believe it's happened.
Oh, you never did that spot?
No, I never did that spot. I'm trying to remember. Don't think so. Thankfully, it didn't happen to me. If it happened to anyone else, maybe, perhaps. Maybe I did to somebody or tried to do it to somebody. But no, I never took something like that. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, though. I thought it made for an entertaining spot.
It was an entertaining spot. I'll give them that. But, like, that's not really what I tune into wrestling for, to see Jeff Hardy's face getting flushed in the toilet. When I tune into Smackdown on a Friday night, I'm not like, man, I hope we see a toilet flushing tonight. That's what we're looking for. I do tune in to see Jeff Hardy flying off the top of a ladder, which we did see in this match, so that was good. Jeff Hardy flies off the top of a ladder onto Sheamus, does a swanton, 1, 2, 3, Jeff wins. Not terrible, but pretty damn goofy the whole way through. And really goofy at the end, because Jeff, at a certain point in the match, he's like taking a vicious beating. And then like his eyes close, and when they open up again, they're like all white and like look kind of computery. Like he's turned into some sort of Jeff Hardy robot. And that's when he takes advantage of Sheamus and starts winning, and he wins the match. So Jeff like freaked out into this weird other persona where he's connected. He is the TV, right? Jeff is person, woman, man, camera, TV. That's Jeff Hardy, okay? You get that reference, John? John, did you get that? You didn't get that.
I thought he became Brother Nero, like when he took the hat off and like the mask or the face paint came on. Like I thought he was Brother Nero then.
Okay, is that what happened? He turned into Brother Nero?
That's the way I took it. Maybe there's another way of taking it. I'm not sure.
Well, when the match ended, Jeff's eyes closed, and then they opened back up again, and they were normal. Like, close up on Jeff's eyes, they're all weirdo, computery. He closes them, opens them back up again, and they're back to normal. Snaps out of it, he's back to being Jeff Hardy. And he walks away from the bar, and that's how SmackDown ends. The fact that Sheamus, when he's sitting there in the bar, waiting for Jeff Hardy, and then he sees Jeff Hardy shows up, instead of Jeff Hardy saying, "I'm here," Sheamus should have been like, "Brother Nero, I knew you'd come." Like, missed opportunity right there, you know? Just hit that. "Brother Nero, I knew you'd come." Like, easy line. Hit him with it. You know, you're waiting for Jeff Hardy. Anytime anybody is waiting for Jeff Hardy ever, and he shows up, the line should always be, "Brother Nero, I knew you'd come." If I'm waiting for Jeff Hardy to call me, and he calls me, and he's like, "Hi, it's Jeff Hardy," and I'll be like, "Brother Nero, I knew you'd call." I mean, how do you not do that? Come on, Sheamus. Come on, WWE. I mean, Jeff talked about Matt. He said my brother deleted his career. You're doing one of these cinematic wrestling matches with Brother Nero, and Sheamus is sitting there on the bar stool, and he doesn't say, Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. Disappointing. It was weird. Not my favorite Jeff Hardy cinematic wrestling match.
Well, it definitely wasn't an ultimate deletion kind of thing, but
No.
again, better than the Swamp Fight. And what was the other movie kind of thing that we saw? I think it was that Viking Raiders and Street Profits. Definitely way better than that.
Money in the Bank?
It might be on par with Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that was not good either. The Firefly John Cena match?
That was pretty awful, too.
We've seen so many of these matches. Was this the first one on SmackDown? They're usually on pay-per-view,
think so.
right? Yeah. This is the first one on SmackDown. Cinematic wrestling match. Eesh. We're getting a lot more of these because, what else are you going to do? This only makes sense now because when there's a crowd, you can't have these on every show. If I'm buying a ticket and the WWE champion is wrestling a cinematic wrestling match and I don't actually get to see him wrestle because he's on a screen, I'm going to be pissed. People in the arena are going to be pissed. It's not going to work. You can do it now. Do them as much as you want now because at a certain point, people will be allowed back in arenas and you won't be able to do them nearly as much. Thank God. And please let that happen soon. Holy shit. Because next week, we're going to have to sit through Otis and Mandy Rose, The Love Story Continues. I don't know what that means, but that was plugged for SmackDown next week. They showed a video package to remind you of how Otis and Mandy love each other. They didn't really remind you that Otis is the Money in the Bank holder, but, does that even matter? And then they said next week on SmackDown, The Love Story Continues. What does that mean? What's going to happen? Are they going to fuck on SmackDown? Because that's the only way that this is a solid payoff for me. I want to see Otis fuck Mandy on SmackDown in the middle of the ring. This is the time to do it. Cinematic wrestling experience. Fucking no real fans. Nobody to get offended. No kids in the audience. Let's go, Vince. Let's fucking take it. Let's do another live sex celebration, but with Otis and Mandy. And they fuck for real this time. All right? Why not? Sorry, John. I took it to a weird place. But I'm just so fucking bored with wrestling. If I'm going to sit through Jeff Hardy pretending he is a computer or a wall or a TV or a bar, you might as well see Otis fuck Mandy. I wonder what that looks like. He's so big. She's so muscular. What does that look like? I want to know. Let's see it. Do they really have sex with each other? They're not really a couple, right?
Well, no, Mandy's engaged to somebody else, so no, it's just
Oh,
a
yeah?
storyline, but it's
Probably
a fun
no.
storyline.
Probably no live sex celebration then. I didn't really think they were going to do that. But, give me something that'll entertain me because The Love Story Continues is going to be fucking terrible. Hey, my peach. Hey, bae. Hey, Tucky. Hey, my peach. Hey. Oh, yeah. That's going to be it. Oh, Otis. Hey, my peach. And, what else beyond that is going to happen? Maybe Sonya Deville will reemerge and be like, remember me?
Well, I know you're not a big fan of this, but I know your son's a huge fan of this, so for his sake, I hope this continues, because I love his impersonations.
Yeah,
and
he
I
likes...
hope there's more of it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I just hope he does more of it. I hope there's more material that Otis gives him that he can work with.
Yeah, my son does a really good Otis, oh yeah, impression. But, that's it. He just likes when Otis does that. Because Otis is a big, funny, cartoony character that 3-year-olds can get behind, He's big in the 3-year-old demographic. And he's a big, old, tough guy. He's a good amateur wrestler. I like Otis. It's just Like, what? I don't like the idea of a SmackDown segment called The Love Story Continues between Otis and Mandy. And if I'm going to watch that, they better fuck. All right? I want to see if Otis is using Manscaped, manscaped.com, promo code ringside20, Otis, all right? For those live sex celebrations on Raw, you better be Manscaped. 20% off plus free shipping when you use the promo code ringside20, manscaped.com. You're welcome, Otis and Mandy.
Yeah, I don't want to see him manscaped or not. Like, we don't need to see that whatsoever.
Come on, man. You don't want to
see.
You don't want to see Otis's cock? What's the problem, man? What are you uptight?
Well, it's one of those things. It's one of those things too, where his belly's just probably gonna be over his like penis anyway. So
he's probably got a big Johnson.
That's nice that you think about that kind of stuff. But anyways, hopefully we don't see anything like that.
He's so big and wide, man. He's probably got a solid hog on him. Respect. Stop trying to... I'm just trying to show him respect on the show. Like, you're the one here saying, oh, he's so fat. Oh, he probably can't even see his dick. Like, that is horribly rude, man. I'm trying to be nice to Otis, okay? I'm trying to say that he's got a big dick, and I want to get him laid on SmackDown Live. So, who's better than me, okay? Go to Stitcher.com and use that... Stitcher.com/premium. Use that promo code ringside, and you'll get a free month of Stitcher. There are podcasts just like ours and other podcasts that are not like ours that you might want to listen to instead on Stitcher Premium. Over 100,000 different shows. On your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon Echo device. All sorts of things. On demand, ad-free. Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more. It's just $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year. But, if you go to Stitcher.com/premium right now and use the promo code ringside, you get a free month. Stitcher.com/premium, promo code ringside. Get a free month of Stitcher Premium today. It's a great service, and you support the Ringside Report Network at the same time. Who's better than you? You're winning. Everybody's winning. Also, big shout out to IP Vanish. Don't forget, our sponsors. IP Vanish. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. That's vpn.ringsidereport.net. Check us out. Protect yourself on the internet. Do you have live sex celebrations that you're trying to protect on your cell phone? Get IP Vanish. Get a secure VPN. vpn.ringsidereport.net. Sign up today. Johnny North, you're a good man. You're a good man, Johnny. I like you. I respect you. And I can see that it's time to go. Okay? I feel like it's time to go.
So where are we going?
We're going away. We're going away to Mexico. We're going on vacation. We're going to go to, I don't know. Where do you want to go? China? China sounds nice this time of year. Safe.
I don't know. Where to go?
You know where we should go? Fucking Japan, so we could go see some live professional wrestling. Maybe get you booked.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking other places.
I'd rather I'm telling you, if I'm traveling anywhere right now, if I could pick somewhere to go, I would go to Japan so I could go watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, because it's the only place on earth that I'm aware of where you can still go see live professional wrestling. I don't need to go to a restaurant. I don't need to go to a bar. I don't need to go to anything. I'm not really missing anything. I'd like to see my friends. I miss my friends. I miss seeing Johnny every week, you know? Give him a nice solid chop in that big chest.
Yeah, you wish.
Yeah, well, next time I see you, all right? Next time I'm allowed to come within 6 feet of you, you're getting a chop.
See you in 2022.
You know what I'm going to tell you when I see you next, Johnny? Put your meat on my meat. That's my new one. I'm stealing it from Kofi. Put your meat on my meat. Come here. Big hugs. You will not.
You're not going to tell me
what?
The risk is worth the reward? You're not going to tell me that?
What's that from? Oh, was that...
that was Money in the Bank.
That was Money in the Bank. Hey, don't forget, the risk is worth the reward. Make sure to crowbar that into all of your promos going forward. Goddamn ridiculous. But yeah, man, I want to go see pro wrestling. I miss pro wrestling. I miss like going to concerts too, going to comedy shows. You know, summertime, especially where we live in Montreal, there's like a big comedy festival. There's always cool people come in. Kendrick Lamar was supposed to play Montreal like in a month or 3 weeks or something. Of course, that's canceled. So many things were supposed to happen this summer that I wanted to go to that now, even if they were happening, I probably wouldn't go to them out of fear of other human beings, you know? It's just weird, man. Like, it's like there are so many things that I would love to go to a wrestling show. I'd love to be in a stadium with 80,000 people watching like a WrestleMania. That sounds good. But then I think about it and I'm like, I don't know when the next time, even when it's okay, when the next time I'll be able to go to something like that where I'm packed with a bunch of other people and I'll feel comfortable, you know? Or when I'll feel safe. Fucking sucks. I miss going to see pro wrestling shows. And I miss the idea that it's possible, you know? I miss the idea that, well, I have tickets and I'm going to go in, 2-3 months. I miss that. And I don't know when that's going to come back in our lives. So, yes, if I had to travel anywhere, I'd travel to Japan so I could go see some live professional wrestling. Because right now they're allowing arenas at a third of capacity. And they're having real fans, real ticket-buying people that are fans of New Japan in the arenas. And Hiromu is wrestling Evil's first title defense this weekend at New Japan Sengoku Lord. That's happening this weekend, so check that out if you're a New Japan fan. Hiromu against Evil. Evil, new leader of the Bullet Club, new IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champion, former member of Los Ingobernables, where Hiromu is still a part of that group with Naito, of course, the former champion, as the leader. So big match there. Hiromu against Evil. Of course, Evil's going to win, but I like Hiromu getting these matches. Hiromu wrestled Okada in the New Japan Cup. Now Hiromu wrestling the champion in his first title defense, the heavyweight champion. Hiromu's a junior heavyweight champion, so this is kind of a big move up for Hiromu Takahashi. And I am a big Time Bomb Hiromu fan, so I'm happy to see him get this. Well-deserved. Tremendous wrestler. Go Hiromu. I would love to be in Japan this weekend with a ticket to go watch Hiromu and Evil wrestle, but I'm here. Doesn't look like I'm going anywhere anytime soon, which means I'll be here talking about WWE and shit with you guys for the next, forever. So, RingsideReport.net. In the meantime, follow Johnny North at North Genesis on Twitter, at Genesis Johnny North on Instagram. Follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and when you do, click the bell so you get notifications each and every time we are on. We're going to have a secret show tonight on the channel. That's right. I just told you, but it's a secret. Secret show on the channel tonight. Be there for the UFC. It's a secret, special, surprise UFC show. Check us out. Bada bing, bada boom.